Cutlass Boy unwilling to shield the Penguin, going to put it all on Shadow Vic. We pivot into Vic. Out comes Feeney. The opponent sends back out Poliwrath, and they are completely core broken. Poliwrath going to be straight in and straight out. Welcome back to the channel. Saturday was Bellsprout Community Day. Firstly, we had triple Stardust, very much needed for a lot of us, myself included. And secondly, we had a new Shadow Pokemon for us all to play with. Victreebel with Magical Leaf. Of course, today's Monday. I'm sure you've all seen numerous other features with it already. Am I going to be the first? No. I'm never the first for anything because unlike a lot of content creators, this is a hobby. Being a small channel, I make very little money from this, I'll be honest. So I work 60 to 72 hour weeks. However, unlike a lot of content creators, what you see on my channel, unlike anywhere else, is you see the true power of Shadow Pokemon. We're never going to try and pad it out with top meta threats like Giratina, Reggie, Greedent, Dugong, etc. You're going to see triple Shadow Destruction in its finest form, and you're actually going to see if Shadow Vic is good or not. Huge shout out to my friend Cutlass Boy. He's going to be running a new powerful Shadow core with Empolion and Victreebel. Empolion weak to electric, fighting and ground, something that Vic covers perfectly. And the idea of a core is that each two Pokemon complement each other. Victreebel weak to fire, flying, ice and psychic, which Empolion covers near perfectly. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, Cutlass Boy saw a psychic type, Armor Mewtwo running Confusion in the lead. Running ABB double poison, that is exactly where he wants to see it. We did have to go down a Protect Shield to get rid of that threat. The opponent then sent out for Alligator, looking to absorb the energy, then give up switch, sending out Cresselia, and here comes Gengar. Cutlass Boy looking to call the bait. The opponent fire off the Moonblast. I'm unsure if they're baiting, or perhaps they don't even have Future Sight. Undeterred, Gengar farms up, fires off the Shadow Punch, forcing the opponent's Protect Shield. Gengar grinning away, then able to fire off the next Shadow Punch on the CMP tie. The opponent recognising it's only a punch. Unwilling to invest their final Protect Shield, the opponent reveals they haven't got Future Sight, and Shadow Vic is about to feast, so the opponent is going to concede the match. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the battle of the water types. The opponent fancy switching into their second water type, and here comes Vic. Swampert very quickly going to become a tasty little snack. Are we going to respect the Earthquake? Cutlass Boy hits the no shield. The opponent runs Sludge Wave. Oof, I was not expecting that. We're able to withstand the damage leave with the Leaf Blade. That's going to hit Glissapods. Water Bug typing for neutral. The first Leaf Blade lands. Victreebel so spamming out, only taking 4 magical leaves, then 3 to the charge moves, able to force us shield advantage. We can send back out the Penguin. The opponent can only hit us for resisted with all their charge moves. It's the Shadow Claw damage that really starts to add up. The opponent fires off the Liquidation. We withstand the damage and return fire with the Drill Peck, securing the knockout. The opponent's final Pokemon is Togekiss, and the whole of our team shits on Togekiss, so the opponent is going to concede the match. Heading into the next one. We are still Penguin into Dragonite. The opponent says no thank you and save switch into Gator. If they didn't like that matchup, they're certainly not going to like this one either. The opponent sends out Gator, and we answer with Victreebel. The opponent does bait us with the Hydro Cannon, but Cutlass Boy fires off the Leaf Blade, securing the knockout. And if Dragonite returns, my God, are they not going to fancy a Shadow Sludge Bomb? With full sending, does the opponent respect the damage? Sludge Bomb nearly one-shots. The opponent just about able to Dragon Breath farm down, but Victreebel almost claims 2 victims. The opponent leaves with a superpower. With that in mind, we send out Gengar. Look to call the opponent's going to blind superpower, and they do. What a play from Cutlass Boy. Out comes Skeledirge. Oof, what isn't such a good play is throwing on alignment. Shadow Punch forces the Protect Shield, and we pivot back out into Empolion. We see the instant no shield deployed, looking to call the bait. No, the opponent full sends the Shadow Ball, and from a fantastic spot and a fantastic play, we're now sitting in, I think, a pretty much impossible position. We send out Gengar. Gengar not able to reach the Shadow Punch, and we're going to get Incinerate farm down and take a heartbreaking loss. In the next battle, we see Tapu Fini in the lead. Our Steel Wing Dual Pet combination is going to hit this pesky fairy for neutral the entirety of the time, whereas we are going to resist absolutely everything. The opponent's likely running Surf and Moonblast, and we resist it all. The opponent fires off the Surf. We see the pivot into Gengar, drawing out Gliscor. The ever menacing Gengar gonna YOLO a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball goes unshielded. The opponent near gets one shot. My God, does Gengar hit like a truck. Cutlass Boy now gonna look for the one shield. Shadow Claw farm all the way down. Ultra League might be the bulkiest league of them all, but when you've got Shadow Gengar, you make these bulky Pokemon look very glassy. Cutlass Boy looks to Shadow Claw down Tapu Fini as well. Unfortunately, we're unable to get it. The opponent's still hanging on to 2 Protect Shield. We send out Empolion. Empolion gets the Steel Wing farm down. The opponent's final Pokemon is Registeel, and this isn't quite over yet. We're going to fire for Hydro Cannon. The opponent opts to shield. They need to start shielding something, and we send out Vic. Vic does resist the usual moveset of Focus Blast and Zap Cannon. The opponent fires off the Zap. It looks like it does around half a health, so 2 are going to be lethal. We fire off the Leaf Blade. Of course, Leaf Blade is going to be resisted. We just need to start chunking this thing as much as possible. Victreebel able to reach 1 further Leaf Blade, and this might put them into Hydro Cannon range. Despite the opponent getting the attack drop, Vic has done its job, putting this Reggie into a range where Empolion can handle it. We've still got a Protect Shield, 2 high behind, and the opponent is certainly in Shadow Hydro Cannon range, so you know the drill. The first Hydro Cannon will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and the second one is going to be all she wrote, Empolion, proving who's the king of the steel types in the Ultra League. Heading into the next battle, we lead Empolion into Galvantula. Yikes. This pesky spider, not all that common in the Ultra League, but certainly core breaks Empolion and Victreebel. Cutlass Boy looks to fire off the Hydro Cannon, losing CMP, but his huge cojones call the bait. Trainer, why did you bait? We fire off the Hydro Cannon. The opponent also doesn't respect it. We then snipe with Gengar, who's worried about any core breakers. Our Gengar save switch is met with Steelix. Cutlass Boy farms up, full sends a Shadow Ball on the CMP tie. Shadow Ball goes unshielded, and even against Steelix, lands for huge damage. Cutlass Boy willing to shield the Psychic Fangs, wanting to do more damage. This annoying Steel Snake. Cutlass Boy this time fires off the Shadow Punch. The opponent completely sacks Steelix. Okay, trainer, you do you. The opponent hoping that a 2-shield Jellyfish is the key to victory, but the first shield will be going with the Shadow Punch, and High Jellison meet Victreebel. Out comes Vic. We've still got 1 Protect Shield, 2 high behind, and we're going to need to call the Shadow Ball correctly. Cutlass Boy looks to call the bait. The opponent continues to masturbate like an absolute potato, and then going to concede the match. My top tip is don't bait, because every time you masturbate, a poor defenseless cat loses its life. In the next battle, we see the Penguin into Ampharos, also not fantastic. Again, we're going to call no Thunder Punch. Cutlass Boy, where do you store these giant testicles of yours? We tank the Brutal Swing, return fire with the Hydro Cannon, forcing a Protect Shield. Unfortunately, the opponent does get a very hefty Volt Switch farm down. Cutlass Boy now going to send out Victreebel to operate as the damage sponge. Unlike the Great League, in Ultra League, Shadow Vic can actually tank a hit. Not particularly well, but better than the Great League. We tank the first, shield the second. Cutlass Boy then throws 1 Magical Leaf and the Leaf Blade for optimal fast move timing. Leaf Blade, of course, does secure the knockout. The opponent sends out Skeledirge. We pivot into Gengar. The opponent then sends out Poliwrath, and Gengar is completely core breaking the back line. Cutlass Boy full sends a Shadow Ball. Does the opponent respect the damage? Shadow Ball, oof, doesn't quite one-shot. If Cutlass Boy would have actually thrown 1 further Shadow Claw and then the Shadow Ball on the CMP tile, we wouldn't have had to invest the final Protect Shield. However, we might still be good here. We fire off the Shadow Punch, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent looks for the Incinerate farm down, but Gengar, refusing to die, grinning away, reaches the Shadow Punch, and the opponent is then going to get resisted Magical Leaf farm down by Vic, and Cutlass Boy picks up the dub. Holy moly, Cutlass Boy must have really pissed off the algorithm gods, as we are seeing numerous electric type leads, one after the other. Again, Cutlass Boy looks to call the bait, and this spider doesn't disappoint, throwing the lunge. We're easily able to withstand the damage, return fire with the Hydro Cannon, gaining our shield advantage. We then pivot into Gengar. The opponent answers our Gengar save switch with Drapion. Of course, the opponent might think this is a good matchup, although Shadow Ball does not care about typings. It's single resisted, but still does huge damage. Cutlass Boy shields up the crunch. Channel mascot Drapion is about to lose switch to a ghost type. Gengar grinning ear to ear, saying, I don't give a shit about typings, does secure the knockout. Back out comes the spider. Trainer, I assure you, you need to discharge. The opponent horny for the debuff. Throw the lunge, Gengar. Able to withstand the damage and reach the Shadow Punch. Shadow Punch secures the knockout. Gengar completely stealing the spotlight. The opponent running AVA Electric. They've got Ampharos in the back, but Gengar still not done. Fires off the Shadow Punch, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. We can now send out Vic. We can, of course, tank one move, so Cutlass Boy not even going to invest the Protect Shield. We tank the Brutal Swing, return fire with the Leaf Blade, and Leaf Blade being one of the very finest moves in the game. 35 energy, 70 damage, going to be more than enough to pick up the dub. GG's! In the next battle, finally we see a better lead, although we do have to be mindful of the superpower coverage. The opponent say switches into Tapu Koko, a Pokemon that has very quickly rose in popularity, but my god, is Vic one of the hardest answers for it. The opponent fires off the Nature's Madness. We're easily able to withstand the damage. Cutlass Boy looks for the magical leaf farm down. Unfortunately, we're unable to get it, so Cutlass Boy is going to be forced to invest the Protect Shield. Although if Dragonite returns, we've already seen Sludge Bomb does absurd damage, so the opponent would have to shield in return. With that in mind, they opt to send out Gramble. No! We had the back-to-back Sludge Bombs, but unfortunately, we go for another quick move and we die to the Snarl. Cutlass Boy now sends out Gengar, shields up the Crunch. The opponent then pivots out into Dragonite. Do they think they caught a Shadow Punch? We full send the Shadow Ball. Get that Dragonite out of it. Gengar once again stealing the spotlight with a huge boom. Gramble's going to be forced to throw on Gengar. Of course, Crunch does secure the knockout. We send out the Penguin, get the Steel Wing farm down, and we're able to take that game. I'm having far too much fun with this shoutcast. In the next battle, dreadful lead, 2 better responses in the back. We say switch into Gengar and the opponent responds with Trevenant. Gengar fires off the Shadow Punch, which at this stage isn't even a bait as these Shadow Claws are doing absurd damage. It looks like the opponent is looking for the full Shadow Claw farm down and that is going to cost them 2 Protect Shields. Cutlass Boy now finds himself in the bait game. I've used Shadow Empolion, and let me tell you, we do not tank a Shadow Ball particularly well. It does like 80%. Cutlass Boy last second, gonna respect the ball. The opponent baits with the Seed Bomb. We're now going to be forced to double shield or take massive damage. Cutlass Boy says, fuck it, I'm going to pull it all on Vic. We're spamming the switch. Out comes Feeney. The opponent then desperately pivot back into Poliwrath. The opponent completely core broken. Poliwrath's going to be straight in and straight out. Get that Poliwrath out of here. And the opponent is going to rage quit the app. Trainer, maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board. Your team might have worked before Saturday, but now Shadow Vic's a thing, and it's here to stay. GG's, and thanks for playing. As we're stuck staring at Shadow Vic, frozen on the screen, as we got a huge amount of lag. My god, am I jealous of that very cool shiny. What a flex. In the next battle, we see the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death. The opponent pivots into Annihilate, and here comes Gengar. Cutlass Boy shields up the Night Slash. I imagine we're then going to farm up, throw the Shadow Punch on the CMP tie, and that is exactly what we do. Shadow Punch, going to be secure in the knockout. Last time against Incinerate, we did throw at really poor timing. Ideally, want to throw 2 quick moves, 4 or 7. 4 is suboptimal, as you give away 2 free turns. Ideally, you always want to give away 1. Cutlass Boy again throws an alignment, giving away a whole 5 free turns. But despite this, Gengar able to withstand the Incinerates, fire off a last second Shadow Punch, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. We send out the Penguin, we get denied. Coming in. Come on, Niantic, this is Season 18. Fix your fucking game. The opponent fires off the Flame Charge, then pivot into Virizion. Virizion double weak to fly, and we fire off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck lands for huge damage. We then make a very nice catch, catching onto Victreebel. Victreebel now going to be able to get the resisted Magical Leaf farm down. Talonflame is going to need to double up on charge moves. The opponent opting to vamp up their own attack as soon as possible. Of course, we're going to shield at the Flame Charge, reach the Sludge Bomb, and Shadow Vic is a Talonflame counter confirmed. You heard it here first. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see that fighter that needs to pull its trousers up, Scrafty. A bit of a core breaker. We pivot into Gengar. The counters are triple resisted, but my god, do we not fancy tanking a foul play? The opponent answers our Gengar save switch with Skeledirge. This time, Cutlass Boy throws up much more disciplined timing, forcing a Protect Shield. Cutlass Boy looks to make a play at switch. We shield at the Disarming Voice. We throw 2 quick moves and the punch. This punch will be lethal. Cutlass Boy this time throwing at very disciplined timing. With his 2 turn into 5 turn. The opponent can't return with Scrafty. That's going to be a very tough triple resisted counter farm down. They send out Gator. Gator very quickly deletes us with only 2 Shadow Claws. And we can now send out the Penguin and use it as the damage sponge. At worst, the opponent is running Crunch. They fire off the Hydro Cannon, then pivot back out into Scrafty, and Scrafty is instantly greeted with the Drill Peck. Drill Peck lands, we pivot into Vic. Key to victory here is never shield the first move, because if the opponent baits with a power-up punch, which we shield, a boosted foul play will knock out the opponent full send a foul play, but this game's over. Cutlass Boy can now easily shield this move up, magical leaf farm all the way down, and we're going to leave with a double leaf blade. The first one, of course, will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield and Shadow on Shadow crime. I have zero doubt in my mind the second one is going to be all she wrote. Very, very well played, Cutlass Boy. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see Skeledirge this time in the lead. A pretty neutral matchup, as due to our steel subtyping, we are taking neutral from these Incinerates. Cutlass Boy fires off 7 quick moves and the Hydro Cannon, again throwing a super disciplined timing. If you want to use these Glassy Shadow Pokemon, timing isn't just important, it is paramount. That is why I harp on about it so much in my videos. The opponent full sends a Shadow Ball, securing the knockout, we send out Gengar. Gengar, of course, wins the charge move prior event. Shadow Punch secures the knockout. The opponent then sends out Cresselia. Trainer, is that really a response? The opponent goes straight for a Grass Knot, which would survive, but we'd get Psycho Cut farm down afterwards. A Cutlass Boy invests that protection. The opponent then sends out Poliwrath. Gengar full sends a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball forces the final Protect Shield, and here comes Vic. As the opponent's revealed Grass Knot, I think Moonblast is kind of a must in Ultra League, because things like Giratina and Mandibuzz, or even Umbreon, Obstagoon, all them sort of things. With that in mind, Icy Wind is the hardest hitting move in the game, so we invest the Protect Shield. Cutlass Boy then maximises energy, throwing the Leaf Blade on the CMP side, which of course secures the knockout. Back out comes Cresselia, and despite having an Icy Wind debuff, these Leaf Blades are still doing a lot of damage. Victreebel still not done, fires off the next Leaf Blade, putting the opponent at a fraction of HP. This definitely isn't Grass Knot range. What is their second move? The opponent throw the Grass Knot. Trainer, that's double resisted. We pivot into Gengar, Shadow Claw farm down, and take that game. In the next battle, we see Dragon Breath Giratina in the lead. Despite us being a steel type, these Dragon Breaths do really chunk, as we haven't got all that much HP. Cutlass Boy fires off the Drill Peck. The Drill Peck and Steel Wing combination really starting to add up. The opponent going to be forced to invest the protection. What the hell are they farming up to? Are we about to get Shadow Forced? Potentially. Come on, Trainer. YOLO it if you've got it. Cutlass Boy dares the opponent, and the opponent says, thank you, I will. We get one shot, but we can send out Gengar. Gengar going to get a very nice running start with a huge Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent then sends out Typhlosion. We're going for the bait. Does the opponent call it? No, we had the opportunity to one-shot. This Shadow Punch should force the final protection. We're going to have Vic align with this Typhlosion, and we're in huge trouble. We do have 2 Protect Shields, and it's a good job too, as Blast Burn will kill Vic and its entire family. We shield at the Blast Burn. The opponent then makes a very nice catch. What did they catch this Leaf Blade on? Empolion, this is GG's. No, they're on Waterfall. Trainer, where have you been for the move update? I think we can potentially Magical Leaf farm down. It's going to be close. We're running out of HP. Does Vic get the Magical Leaf farm down? Yes, we do. We leave with the Sludge Bomb. We're able to win the CMP tie, and somehow Cutlass Boy picks up the dub. Trainer, please TM off Waterfall and get yourself on Steel Wing. In the next battle, we see Pidgeot in the lead, exactly where the team wants to see it, as Vic will get eaten alive and Gengar running a full Ghost moveset. Everything is going to be double resisted due to the sub-normal typing. We fire off the Hydro Cannon. I cannot believe they didn't shield. Pidgeot users love to shield everything. The opponent YOLOs the Brave Bird, then pivot into Annihilate, and we answer with Victreebel. Interesting. I don't really know why we didn't go Gengar here. Vic is obviously good into it. I suppose you're just throwing it away, as we know they've got Pidgeot, so I suppose it does make sense. We tank the Night Slash, fire off the Leaf Blade, forcing a Protect Shield. The opponent then plays the CMP tie. They do not win. As always, shout out the GOAT, Home Slice Henry, Victreebel, able to force both Protect Shields in the mid game. And we now got Gengar with a 2-0 shield advantage. What wants to see this? There's no chance that ABA normal, right? Greedent perhaps? Greedent would be a problem. We send out Gengar. Of course we're going to shield up the Night Slash. I'm getting excited as it is nuke o'clock. Gengar gets a very nice Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent sends out Pidgeot. Recognise it's so low. It's probably going to get fast move beat down. Send out the basic bitch Tin Can. Reggie might think it's thick, but Trainer, unfortunately for you, it isn't thick enough, as Reggie's going to be straight in and straight out. Back-to-back Shadow Balls. Secure the knockout. Back out comes Pidgeot, and Gengar is going to pick up yet another entire sweep. Gengar, you absolute monster. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see Empolion into Venusaur. A pretty good matchup for us now, as Steel Wing means we pace at the same speed, at least to the first 2 moves. Venusaur's pretty attack weighted, but Empolion does have the higher attack, meaning we are going to win CMP. Cutlass Boy returns fire with the drill peck the opponent shield in return. Let's see if they take the extra or they play to that CMP tie. The opponent makes a mistake. Let's see if they just sack the Venusaur. The opponent invests their final protect shield. Cutlass Boy rightfully lets this go, knowing Venusaur has completely depleted its energy. It takes him 6-6, then 5 to the Frenzy Plants. We send out Gengar. Once again, bullying this Venusaur in the CMP tie. Shadow Punch secures the knockout. What wants to see shield advantage Gengar. The opponent sends out Swampert. Cutlass Boy attempts to catch a Hydro Cannon onto Vic. The opponent bank their energy and then send out Obstagoon. Vic now absolutely smelling blood. Leaf Blade does a lot of damage. Again, you don't want to shield the first move in case the opponent gets the boost. We easily are able to survive the Night Slash. Can we actually Magical Leaf farm all the way down? I think the answer is yes. Cutlass Boy going to be looking for the farm down. Can Obstagoon make one further Night Slash? No, they can't. Victreebel once again going to win CMP. The opponent has actually lost 3 CMP ties in this battle. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, Cutlass Boy leads his Shadow Penguin into what the heck is that? Tangrowth in Open Ultra League. What a cool pick. Cutlass Boy looks to throw the drill peck on the CMP tie. It takes Tangrowth 7 Vine Whips to the first charge move. Unfortunately, the opponent didn't play to CMP, and they also show great discipline, holding their energy, firing off the Rock Slide on Vic. The opponent then pivots out into Poliwrath to answer Shadow Vic. I am gobsmacked. What the heck, trainer? This isn't a response. We shield up the Icy Wind, recognizing Vic must be very good against whatever the opponent's got on the back. It must be double water. I'm going to hazard a guess at it being for Alligator. We fire off the Leaf Blade, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. I think at this stage, double debuff. We just let Vic go down, which is what Cutlass Boy does, and trusting Gengar to nuke the shit out of everything. Poliwrath's kind of in an awkward health range, to be honest. We're not going to be able to Shadow Claw farm down before they reach a charge move. Cutlass Boy gonna shield up the obvious Icy Wind. There's no point in scolding as Gengar is so glassy. Cutlass Boy looks for the farm down. We're unable to get it, so stay in school, kids. Learn to count. We catch the Icy Wind, back onto the Penguin and bank a boatload of energy. The opponent then sends out Jellicent. Double water indeed. Not the water type I expected, but it makes sense why they sent out Poliwrath. The opponent needs to manage that energy well, and we need to be careful that Tangrowth is still alive. So is Poliwrath actually, so the opponent has 2 potential catch opportunities. Shadow Ball from this range will secure the knockout. The opponent gets greedy, throw the Surf, allowing us to reach 1 further Drill Peck. Drill Peck won't be lethal. Our Switch Timer pops up before theirs does. We fire off the Shadow Punch. The opponent is going to get knocked out, and Gengar is going to Shadow Claw, farm down everything, and Cutlass Boy is going to end the video with a dub. GG's and thanks for playing. Huge shout out to Cutlass Boy for bringing us some epic entertainment on a Monday morning, or at least it's Monday morning for me when I'm recording this. Also shout out to jfrog, who suggested the team for Cutlass Boy to run. So of course, if you want to join my Discord, where we always talk about triple shadow teams, it is linked down below. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If like Cutlass Boy, you'd like your battles featured on my channel. A link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.